Good to be here today at OTTCon in Santa Clara Convention Center. My name is Sam Blackman. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Elemental Technologies, and today we're demonstrating our Elemental Live solution here. Elemental Live is a very powerful GPU-accelerated video processing solution for delivering OTT video. Elemental Live is our linear encoder, so it takes live streams in and creates multi-screen outputs for live distribution. We also have a product called Elemental Server, which is a file-based transcoding solution that takes files in and creates multi-screen file outputs. Let's talk about a little bit today is a recent presentation that we just gave here, which is called the Olympics Go OTT. And it's some of the lessons that we've learned over the past few months and using some of our customers in their large-scale sporting events, and how we've learned from those lessons to power some of the Olympic streaming coming up from London in August for the 2012 Olympic Games. So one key learning was around divergence of output endpoints. So with our customer TF1, we streamed a very large-scale live event that had to go to multi-screen devices, HLS, as well as Flash. Also had to go to set-top boxes, and it went to 6 different internet service provider set-top boxes, and each of those had a slightly different packaging requirement. And the key takeaway from this sporting event was that to deliver effectively to multi-screen devices and to this divergence of devices, you absolutely have to have a software-based solution, because only software is flexible enough to adapt to the rapidly changing multi-screen world. So that was a key lesson. Second key lesson was around a company that we work with called Delta Tray, which powered all the video highlights for the recent Rugby World Cup last fall. In this case, it was taking highlights that Delta Tray was creating and very quickly creating multi-screen outputs for all those different highlights. And again, the key here is that speed was critical. Fans want to see highlights of big plays as soon as possible, and having a highlight ready for VOD, video on demand consumption, in 2 minutes as opposed to 30 minutes is a huge difference in terms of how effectively Delta Tray's customer was able to monetize that VOD asset. So speed of processing is very critical. And our Elemental Server product in that case was able to take a VOD asset and in under 2 minutes create 28 different variants for distribution to all the different types of devices that the highlights were being created for. So speed is the second key lesson. Third was a product we did with the company called Terra Networks out of Brazil. And Terra had the streaming rights for the Pan American Games that also took place last fall. Here, Terra was streaming to 17 different countries across Latin America, and it was one of Elemental's earlier international deployments. We learned a lot of lessons about international deployments and some of the requirements that are different when you're deploying internationally relative to domestically. In the case of Terra, going to those 17 different countries, multi-channel audio support was required. So we need to be able to create many audio channels and have them associated with a single video file so that regardless of what language is being put on top of that content, the end user could view the video with the audio that they wanted. So that was key. Second key was around subtitling and captioning requirements, which are very different based on which geography you are in. Subtitling and text and captioning requirements have changed dramatically over the past few years, and translating between one captioning format and another is becoming more and more difficult. So being able to successfully translate captions across different types of end devices, end screens, and different geographies is absolutely critical. So having a solution that's really been through the ringer in terms of international deployments is absolutely critical. Fourth key lesson was from Stanford University, who we're working with here in the Bay Area. Stanford deployed a new real-time Wi-Fi replay system where if you are attending a Stanford football game or a Stanford basketball game, you can actually pull up an iPad or iPhone and see a replay of an event that just happened, whether that's a close call made by the umpire and referee, or whether that's a highlight, a great dunk, or a really nice pass that was just made. And by leveraging Elemental Live and creating an archive file in real time, Stanford was able to make these on-demand highlights available instantaneously. So within under a minute of the play occurring, fans could pull up that video clip on their mobile device. And what this is a kind of sign of is a trend that to make sure that stadiums and venues remain exciting events to attend when they're competing against really nice big screen televisions and fancy audio systems in living rooms, people are still willing to go to the stadium because they get to watch the action live, but they also get this personalized video replay system in their hand on their device. So fourth learning, this is going to be important in more and more sporting venues going forward. Final learning was from Eurosport, our customer in Paris, which is essentially the ESPN of Europe. Eurosport is using Elemental for both video on demand as well as live to 11 different countries. And here, the key is that Eurosport is creating streams for devices as disparate as iOS devices, so iPad, iPhone, Roku box, Apple TV, Flash Player on the PC and on Android devices, and then Silverlight for Xbox 360 and other Microsoft applications. They're creating 28 different outputs simultaneously and having to manage the network requirements of all those outputs. We've been developing a standard called MPEG Dash with several other companies in the space, and by standardizing on Dash, the goal is to reduce the number of outputs from 28 down to just a few, maybe 9 different adaptive bitrate outputs with standardized packaging around them. And so if that happens, this proliferation of formats might start to get reduced. So those are the 5 key learnings that we are bringing to the Olympics, and we think will impact this 2012 Olympics in August, as well as future Olympics and other larger scale events. And we hope that Elemental Live and Elemental Server become key technologies for helping deliver these type of events to large audiences on a global scale. Thank you.